On behalf of FICCI Arise, I welcome you to the second edition of FICCI Arise and Cambridge University Press webinar series around schools post-lockdown, the what, why, and how of this entire situation. On the onset, I thank Cambridge University Press for collaborating with us on this very pertinent topic.
The chairman of the SAI group of schools. He's also the advisor to the government of Odisha with a mission to establish 314 CBSE English medium schools, one in each block of Odisha. Dr. Bijaya Sahu, it's a pleasure to have you here, sir.
Thank you, Raghav, and namaskar to all our viewers. Thank you, Raghav, Preeti, and Dr. Aruna for setting the context of today's this webinar. And also, I am very fortunate to be amongst the panelists like Dr. Joseph Enamuel, Dr. Abdullah, and Mijanal Kulkarni. The topic is very, very eminent today for, schools post-lockdown, what, why, and now. This COVID pandemic has disrupted, every single life. This disruption probably is going to give us a new normal. So I'd like to little elaborate on this new normal. While this pandemic has brought disruption everywhere and people are scared and people are fearing for life, but I see at the end of the tunnel a huge opportunity. Education will come back much better, much wider, much larger, and much deeper. So my small presentation that I'm going to make will be divided into the impact, then short term, immediate term, what we are going to do, and then long term, the four stakeholders, that the students, the parents, the teachers, and the management. So how this disruption is going to be overcome, and we are going to see, as I said, a new normal. And at the end, I'll show something which will be the new age schools, how it will look like. So let me, share a small presentation. The impact of lockdown. The immediate impact of this lockdown, if I start, is starting with the engagement, that the disruption of the regular engagement of our learners. This is, I tried to, so how, when the schools open up, how the schools are going to look like with, say, 30% of the students coming, the social distancing to be kept, how if the children are sitting, there can be a, how the, practices have been in the foreign countries. Now the short-term measures that immediately we need to do. Now, I have tried to, these short-term measures, I have tried to put it in three segments. One is the government regulations and the rightly model which will come. Health and safety guidelines each have to do with a deep dive, and the infrastructure guidelines that may follow when we are opening up schools. Now let me come to the major thing which is long-term and which is positive side. Let me start with the student side on the learnings and how to convert this pandemic COVID-19 to an opportunity. These are some of the points I thought are relevant as far as the first stakeholder of the school system. Those are the students. The next stakeholder are our teachers, who are actual drivers. And for them, probably we need to retrain all our teachers into the use of technology and into the teaching learning process inside the classroom and in the online education. Now comes a very important stakeholder into the entire system is again parents. Till date, parents' involvement in the school was minimal. And I always tell that the involvement of parent is inversely proportional with the age of the child. The last stakeholder is the management. Here, the management side, I find 5 very important changes that the management need to look at. One is the financial, looking at the costs, looking at the budget, looking at the technology cost that's going to be, looking at the health and safety cost that's going to be, and reframing their financial budget and implementing that. I feel the future schools, apart from what we are running today, will have all these elements. And unless we have each of these elements in the future schools, the education will not be 360 degrees. COVID is not a challenge, but a new opportunity for school education in India. And with that positive note, I thank all of you for giving me the patient hearing and this opportunity to share my thoughts. Thank you.
I'm extremely grateful to Dr. Sahu for very swiftly and very succinctly covering all the major issues. Because the boarding school has the capacity to actually be a safe haven in these troubled times. And the parents' fear of the Formite can be overcome by their faith in the school. And finally, an SOP that a school makes should be easy to understand and implement by the lowest functionary in the school hierarchy. SOP is as good as the weakest link we have. And then in the end, I would just like to quote the famous author Jim Collins, "We cannot predict the future, but we can create it." And as Dr. Sahu very lucidly put it across, that what are the contours that at the end of this, we are actually going to get a better education system than we have today.
A lot of preparations are going on from the government of Maldives. We are getting ready for the reopening. And one more thing I want to highlight, in the Maldives, from government of Maldives, we have distributed tablets for all our students except grade 1 and 2. So all of them have tablets, and we are teaching through Google Class also. And these TV classes are combined with Google Class. TV lessons, the activities are given their respective teachers through Google lessons. So we believe that we are trying our best to continue education in this difficult time.
We have already initiated the process of transformation, and this transformation should be percolated down the line from class 1 nursery level onwards, so that the learning objectives can be achieved from the beginning itself. So nurturing of the children in the right way and identifying the right talent at the right time, that should be the new norm.
The most important part is the society really banks on government preparation. It couldn't be more evident than this time. And the bright side of it is, yes, if we are aware, we're banking on our government's preparation and we are socially responsible, how can we really harness that into our education system? How can we bring it to change the course as required? Cannot be done by one single organization, cannot be done by one single government. This is the time when we all need to come together. And that's exactly that we are doing thanks to these forums. And what we see today is that we have some outstanding leaders from the government, from school education, who have made their time to come together and participate with us in this active dialogue.
Thank you to all the panelists. It was a wonderful session. To all the educators and the parents watching, please, it's an appeal to all of you, especially to the parents. Support your teachers, support your school, and to the schools, support your parents, support your children. Unless we work together, the child will fall down. We have to understand it takes a village to raise a child. And when we are united, then the child will truly blossom and reach his or her full potential.